Hello everybody, my name is Coen from the Fellowship of Acoustics, and today we have a very special guest. This is Pepijn, and Pepijn is from Eastman, and Eastman did something really cool for the NAMM this year, and we're going to talk all about it in this video. And that is...
Juliet. We have to talk about it.
We have to talk about this. So the Juliet is Eastman's very first all-original solid body. It comes with different configurations, different finishes, and we're going to talk all about it. So we're really curious where it comes from, Juliet.
2 years ago, well, 2.5 years ago, we gave this guitar to the world.
The Romeo.
Romeo. And when there's a Romeo, there needs to be a Juliet. Otto D'Ambrosio, our head designer and my good friend, designed the Romeo, and we were amazed by the success of this guitar. Mm-hmm. In 2020 it was the best sold Eastman electric guitar, which we didn't expect because it's the first completely original designed Eastman guitar that we did. Based on Romeo, it was for us a very easy step to go to Juliet and to make sure that we use the platform that is Romeo. So if you look at Romeo, the shape, then you see also where Juliet is based on that same platform. It's different obviously, but there are a lot of similarities and there's a lot of stuff where you see the two are related. Otto and me were at the last NAMM that I attended, that was NAMM 2020.
Yeah.
And we were on a Sunday, beer in hand, walking around all the NAMM halls. It was the big NAMM, everything was there. And we walked around and we were really discussing and thinking about where to go with Eastman. And we wanted to do an all original solid body and we wanted to base it on Romeo. All those vintage and all those original designs are always an inspiration to us all. At the same time, we want to be original. And with Eastman, we really wanted to be to find our own voice, our own look, and with Romeo we did the first step. So one of the things that I always really liked is the raised center bar. We all know the guitar that uses that most famously.
Firebird.
Exactly, and there's this thing with the Firebird where it's really cool, but it's not always as ergonomic or comfortable to wear. So we put this in there. Then we chose an Okume body. The beauty of Okume is that it's extremely lightweight, so it's always like really light, mm-hmm. And then at the same time has a lot of highs and lows. There's a big range of frequency inside of just the wood, and then we're just talking the wood. We made it offset. I love Jazz Masters, but we don't do that kind of guitars, no bolt-ons. Something that's always been missing is that SG sound in the Eastman lineup, mm-hmm. Because we don't have a slab body Okume or mahogany body with humbuckers and P90s, and we really wanted that sound that I think that's just really it's almost like a Telecaster on steroids. From there on, Otto went home, and Tuesday, when he came back from his workshop, he had a styrofoam body in hand that is exactly this body. So over the weekend, after Sunday, he designed the whole body, everything, cut it out on the CNC on styrofoam, mm-hmm. And it was there. Immediately. First take, and that was because we really had that moment in time. He lives in the US, I live in Holland, so it's not always easy to spend time together, obviously, on video screens. But there we were together, and it was very easy to do so. So this was immediately home run. And my role with the designing of the guitars, I'm not a designer like Otto, but I clothe the guitars. So, for instance, when it comes to this guitar, so we had the body. Otto came up with this beautiful inlaid pickguard material.
Yeah.
So it's really flat. It's not on top of the guitar, but it's laid into the guitar. So I came up with the materials. I chose the pickups. I made chose the knobs, stuff like that. But most importantly, I wanted a 6 inline headstock, which we didn't have.
No, it's the very first one as well, right?
That's the very first one. So I drew a horrific, ugly headstock, and I sent it to Otto, and I said, well, how about this? And now if I look back at the drawing that I sent him just with pencil, it's really, really bad looking. But he turned this into something beautiful. So that is really how the two of us work together well. And it has to be, again, it's a little nod to the Jazzmaster with matching headstock, so it matches the color. And then another thing that I do is choosing the colors. And
now we get to the colors.
The colors.
We talk a lot about colors. And not just me, but also my colleague Mark.
Mark Veldhuizen, he credit who deserves credit. He says, oh, but you know what you should do? You should do something like a desert sand kind of body. I said to Otto, hey, how about a desert sand? And I have an old Fender Mary Kay Strat, and we looked at that, and we checked, that was a bit too sandy, too yellowy. So then Otto started working on this, and you really have to see the grain. So this is the first new color with Juliet, which is called Pomona Blonde. Choosing the pickups, that's another thing that takes a lot of time. We work with these wonderful companies like Lawler, Seymour Duncan, and during the pandemic, there was a British company that really helped us out when all the American companies were closed. It turned out that Bare Knuckle, Tim Mills and his team, they were open and they could supply us with pickups because we were building guitars. We didn't have any pickups. So he helped us out. We got some pickups from the UK that were extremely good. So we were very happy. They fit right in with the Seymour Duncans and the Lawlers. They're all different. They're all at that same fantastic quality level. It's different from a Lawler humbucker. It's different from a Seymour Duncan. It has their own unique identity, and they fit it really well with the Okume. Mm-hmm. So you always try the pickup, of course, is such a huge influence. And in this case, they add the depth and the low that you need on a guitar like this. We choose the Bare Knuckle Old Guard humbuckers. Mm-hmm. They are partially wax potted. That's something that we do with all our pickups because we don't want them fully wax potted, but also not wax potted. So partially wax potted, so you don't have those high peeps when you turn to your amp, and at the same time they do have that vintage vibe to it.
And there are some more configurations possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Also a new finish, the vintage red color. Well, not completely new, but on this guitar it reminds the SB55 double cut. Yeah. Which is a little more the classic color that we use, but this is the real vintage red. Sometimes it's a little redder, sometimes it's a little darker, depending on the color of the Okume, mm-hmm. because it's a see-through finish, so the color of the wood is has a big impact. Old Guard, Bare Knuckle P90s. This was also, slam dunk. I mean, you need, when you have a two humbucker guitar with an Okume body, then you need P90s as well. Yeah, that was pretty easy for us to choose and to make those choices, because in the end it would be weird to put a Telecaster pickup on here or something. These guitars need P90s or humbuckers. Also, as they complement the wood. Yeah. Then something that we always do, and I came up with it for the Romeo LA, not the Romeo, but the Romeo LA. That is a one tone that only works on the treble pickup. So in the treble position and in the middle position, it has an effect, but when you come to the the neck position, the tone doesn't do anything because it's already dark. It's 2 volumes, so you still have the ability to really create the middle sound that you want by turning the volumes, and then the tone has an impact on the treble pickup only. So if you go all the way and then it's the brightest, it's the Telecaster kind of bite, but if you want to roll that off a little, then you make it more close to the sound of the neck pickup. One of the things that we started out by trying, not with the P90 of course, but with the humbucker, to also have like a PRS configuration, which I've always admired them for, with a 5-way switch. Yeah. That's why we have the blade switch, and then also with single coil, but we couldn't cope with the volume drops. So we ended up with a Schaller 3-way switch, and I really wanted the switch up here. Otto in the beginning said, "No, it needs to be like Romeo, it needs to be there because that's easier to play." But I always liked those old National guitars. You know, there's these like the red one that they all have them up here. And someone told me, "Yeah, Eddie Van Halen, Wolfgang, he has it up here." I mean, if it's good enough for Eddie. So I really, because you can't, while playing, you can't touch it by not on purposely, but switching it to another position. It's up here, and it's, I think, also visually looks fantastic because it's offset. You have that whole body used. Then we have the carves, of course. It's one of those things where Otto for him it is so important to have that balance on a guitar, that it doesn't smack you in the face when suddenly the headstock hits you, or there is the carve on the armrest, so you don't hurt your arm, but also the back, the way the neck is set, the way this is all curved. It's all, made for the ease of the player.
It's the last one.
This is the last one.
The last one we got here.
Yes, that one is in antique black. It's finished in the violin varnish. These ones they call True Tone gloss finish. That's our proprietary new gloss finish that we introduced 2 years ago. The varnish is hand rubbed. It's a violin varnish. Doesn't give any protection, but it really lets the guitar breathe. The reason why we always antique it, as we call it, is because it doesn't give any protection. The first one who plays it makes a little mark on it. And to prevent that, you have to bestock all the guitars in varnish in the shop. We already antique it, so it already looks old and aged. I really wanted the Bixby on one of the 3, despite the fact that the Bixies are very expensive, and they have not become less expensive during the pandemic. So that makes the difference, because these 2 retail in euro and $16.99. The varnish, the antique varnish, is $2,099. Obviously because of the Bixby, but also varnish and the aged hardware, as everything is aged, the knobs, etc.
This was your very first authentic solid body. Weren't you super nervous to show the world the design?
I always compare it to writing a hit record. You know, that is almost impossible. I mean, there's only so few people who can write a hit record, and we are in an industry where the same guitars have been the best-selling guitars for 60, 70 years.
60, 70 years.
So the Les Pauls, the Telecasters, the Strats, they are still the most popular guitars out there. To come up with something new is nerve-wracking, and I really was worried about the acceptance and about, okay, will the guitar player understand what we try to do? And then there was this southern rock band called Robert John and the Wreck, guys from California, and just before they were starting to go on their European tour, we came into contact with them, and they did a last rehearsal on two Juliets. They were playing Firebirds, SGs, Music Mans. So they were already happy with the guitars they had, so it was a long shot. But they played them, they fell in love with it, and immediately the Saturday after that, took them on stage in Los Angeles and then took them on tour. And they've been posting on their Instagram all along. So I've been seeing these guitars being used more and more and more and more on stage, and performing on stage and delivering night after night, because this is the hardest working band in show business. They almost play every night. So that took away the real nerve for me, because if a Southern rock band embraces these guitars, then they must somehow look right. People didn't understand, so they were like sending questions. We see these, are these fake Eastmans or what is this? Because nobody could find anything. So we were very happy that we released them at NAMM. So now it's out in the open and people know about this.
Exactly. So that was it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed Pepijn, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coen.
I really hope you enjoyed the guitars. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments and we'll try to answer them as complete as we can, and otherwise we'll ask Pepijn. And he will definitely answer them because he knows all the ins and outs. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you.